Welcome back to Talking Reality Podcast. In today's episode, we are going around the world in 30 minutes with Mr. International.
Hello.
How you doing, Dan? You all good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, really good.
Nice to see you, mate. Obviously, we've got you in to tell us your travelling stories.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's all about travelling. So, far
there's,
away.
There's some wild ones in there.
There's some wild ones. There's some ones that will better left kept off air. So,
yeah. There's been a few.
We'll keep it clean, boys.
We'll keep it PG.
Keep it clean.
Yeah,
PG.
keep it PG.
So 45 countries is
45
you travel
countries.
to, right?
Plenty more to come, I'm sure. But yeah, 45 countries, which I'm pretty proud of.
Didn't you have this thing you wanted to... Did you do all that before you were 30? Is that right?
I did, yes.
45 countries before you were 30.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's mad. It's like I had this ambition just to try and tick off as many countries as I could by 30, and 45 is a target, and it's been acquired. So
He's a very cultured man.
I wouldn't go that far.
No?
maybe not.
But yeah, what brought that upon? How did that start? Why did you...
Yeah, so I think for me it started very early on. My parents, I guess you could say I was fortunate in the sense that we would always go away abroad on holidays rather than... We did UK holidays, obviously, but I think back then it wasn't as common to do abroad holidays. So we were going to the likes of Spain, Greece, France on family holidays, and that sort of initially got me thinking, right, there's more to life in the UK. So I think it stemmed from there. So
That's a good point, though, because how many of us get stuck in that bubble and the depression of the UK, overcast, cold, long-ass winters.
Exactly that.
No one wants that, do they?
Also, there's that thing as well, like we say about travelling, like how many people go on the same holidays on repeat?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Like if you want to be someone that's going to, like, I don't know, you go to Benidorm every week, every year, not every week. But if that's what you want to do every...
Fair play. If you're making it every week then, and you're surviving, then...
Yeah, fair shout. But no, if that's your thing, whatever, but like, God, there's a whole world out there, and like,
exactly
as we're going to explore with your...
Yeah, exactly that. I just think, as much as like people like to go to the same place, the same people, there's so much more to see.
Yeah.
And I think you're just losing out, spending that money to go to the same place, the same country, when you could travel so many different places. Cheap now as well. It's not like it's expensive, so yeah, I'm all for it.
I feel like that's quite a British thing, though. Like, you get people that always go to the same restaurant as well. So like they tend to be the people that go, oh yeah, well, we really like that.
Yeah.
And maybe they worry about the risk of if we go somewhere we haven't been, are we wasting our money? Because if it goes tits up. But again, you would argue that's probably part of the excitement, right?
Part of the excitement. I think people don't like change. I think in the UK
true,
we don't like change. We don't like something out of the norm. They think, oh, if we go to Turkey instead of France this year, what could happen? We might not like the food. Who cares? If you don't take that risk, if you don't, you're never going to find out. You're forever going to go, oh, should we have gone to Turkey?
I think the other thing is as well, though, with like Brits abroad, there's a really bad perspective, isn't there? A lot of like country...
What behaviour?
Yeah. You think about, like, even if you go like to the football or whatever, remember all the... what was that? Was it that World Cup where the Russian fans and the British fans were like...
Yeah, they had a go, didn't they?
Yeah. They're each on each side of the...
Yeah,
it's different rules abroad, though, isn't it?
Different rules abroad?
Yeah, that's the mentality they go over there with.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, you don't piss on your own doorstep, do you? But as soon as they go abroad, they got the mentality of like, oh, do what you want. Like, you got people like running across motorways and stuff like that. You just wouldn't see that in the UK.
Yeah, and you think of like lads' holidays and girls' holidays. They go abroad and then they're just doing like, oh, what was that story with that girl? Was she like?
Oh, you're on about Sambuca? Is it Sambuca girl?
Hold on,
Sambuca girl.
What's
the one who was nailing all the Sambucas and then like sucking someone off.
No,
do you not remember that?
I don't remember that. No. I'll have to Google it now.
No, but I think she was obviously
she went viral though.
Yeah, she went viral.
It was obviously not great.
And I mean, literally proper viral.
Yeah, it was in the paper and everything.
Yeah, it was in the paper, and didn't she suck off like
loads of lads,
like 15
they
lads
were queuing up.
Where is it, like Magaluf or something?
Yeah, it was one of them ones.
Yeah,
it was one of them ones.
And I think like a appearance scene.
You don't recover from that, really, do you?
No, you have to go into hiding for a little while, innit?
Yeah. Anyway, back to PG.
Yeah.
We don't need to be.
So do you think some people are reluctant to travel because like they feel like they've already been there? So like, for example, we've all seen movies in New York City, We all know what Times Square looks like,
Yeah.
even though that probably most of us haven't gone there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people are reluctant to pay all that money to go out and actually see it because they feel like they've already experienced it through like a TV set?
Completely. I think we're so glued to our phones these days that we think that's reality.
Yeah.
You know, without actually seeing a place, exploring it. If you just go on Instagram, you can Google anything. You can Google Barbados and feel like you've actually been there because you see a video of, it'll be a GoPro on someone's head, they're videoing the whole experience for everyone. It's like, just go and enjoy your holiday. Why are you even videoing the whole thing for everyone to see? So yeah, I do think that people that are glued to the phone, just like Googling all these different holidays, do experience like, they think they experience it, but until you get somewhere.
But I think that's part of social media, isn't it? You're living life through other people's experiences.
Yeah.
And that's travel blogging or vlogging or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, you're just living through that other person's experience. So it's like, I don't need to go to the Barbados or wherever it is, Jamaica, wherever, because I've watched this YouTube series of this couple or this family who've been out there, or this guy who's been out there, and it's like, I feel like I've experienced it.
Yeah, and it's just not reality.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's great to get tips and travel advice from it, but go there, experience it yourself. How would you know what New York's like until you get there? You could absolutely hate it, but from what you know, you think it's the best place on earth.
Yeah.
You have people that dream of going places all their lives, get there and hate it because they've already got a perception of it online.
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
It's even like if you said to me, it was really good last week in Benidorm, there's me thinking, because Mike said it's going to be amazing, but you could get it could be terrible. So
it's individual, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it's such a personal thing.
Travel. And that's a good point, because one thing I find with holidays as well is that it's all kind of pre-planned a lot of the time.
Mm.
Whereas that's probably the difference between traveling and holidaying.
Yeah.
Holiday, it's like we know what hotel we're going to. We know we're downtown LA. We know we're going to the Staples Center. We know we do the Hollywood bollocks. Do you know what I mean? It's all kind of
you're
like...
You're talking about yours and Watson's holiday.
Literally, yeah. But that's a classic example of most people, like in the UK, they go on holiday. It's like, it's all like, now we're going to Venice Beach. And it's like...
It's almost, for me, it's almost like they're taking their routine from home abroad.
Yeah.
Whereas really, you should be throwing that to the side.
We're so obsessed with control, though.
Yeah.
So obsessed
with control.
Freaks,
aren't we?
Yeah. Going to like your traveling though, what was the first big journey you did?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, growing up, did plenty of family holidays. That got my mind intrigued, thinking, oof, there's more out there. And then my older sister, Jenny, she moved to Australia at 21, I want to say, and she's still there now. She'd hate me to mention her age, but yeah, we're talking like 20 odd years. She's been out there. So
sorry, Jenny.
Yeah, sorry, Jenny. So I'm thinking, well, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So at 19, I think I was 19, 20, took a leap of faith, finished my apprenticeship, become an electrician. Rather than carry on working 9 to 5, I thought I'll go out to Australia. Didn't know anyone. It was quite unheard of back then. At 20, we're talking like 10 years ago. 13 years ago. It's a long time. Not many people did it. I just thought, let's get it, let's go. Flew to Australia, spent a good 6-7 months there. Had to come home, unfortunately, because of an injury, bad knee injury. But
you were playing football, weren't you, over there?
Playing football over there. But that made me see the light. That was the changing point. Yeah. Holidays were one thing with the family. Australia kind of made me feel, I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of clicked in my head. There's more to life than a 9 to 5. There's more to life than just routine. So yeah, that's where it kind of stems from, I think.
That's a ballsy move as well at that age.
Yeah,
like some people have anxiety just going 2 hours up the road to London. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
people were saying to me, "You just got qualified. Why would you jack all that in to go away?" It's like, but I'm qualified now. I can always come back. There's always money to be made. This is the saying I always say. There's always money to be made. You can go traveling for 6 months. You can come home. You can still make money. Money's always going to be there. Job's always going to be there.
Yeah.
So, that's basically where it kind of, in my mind, I thought, that's it now. Something just clicked.
And I suppose once you've had that first experience, like you said, it's kind of, you've built that confidence, you've got that experience, and you take that into wherever you want to go now. Because I know you've then... So you came back from Australia.
Yeah.
How long did you spend here?
And then I think it was like 2 or 3 years, but it was always in the back of my mind. Always. something changes. Once you do something like that and you come back, you're never the same person. It's so like cliche, but you're not.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But it expands your like perspective.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
you just think, oh, that is doable.
Yeah.
Where I thought like maybe it wasn't doable before. As soon as I went if I can go the other side of the world on my own, I can go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? That's the mentality I had. And I came back, and every day I was in work, I was Googling, flights to Asia, flights to here, flights to there, because once it's in your brain to travel.
Were you ever doing any work?
Sorry?
Were you ever doing any work? It just sounds like you were flat on Google.
Not really, to be honest, yeah. Turn up to a job and just sit in the van on my phone.
Yeah, fair.
Googling flights. No, I just think once it's in you and something changes, that's it. You're just going to always strive to get away. It's not that I hate the UK, it's just that I want to see things, explore.
Yeah, there's a whole fucking world out there.
So much to see, why not?
And you must learn so much as well.
Like 100%.
Well, they do say that, don't they? That's the best way of learning is travelling.
100%, because what it does is it puts you out of your comfort zone. Like at home, I was working a 9 to 5, like I said, decent money, waking up on my own, having my breakfast on my own, eating my dinner on my own, going to the gym on my own. Like, yeah, you're comfortable around your friends and your work colleagues. Everyone should be. That's normal life. But throw yourself into going away, say Asia. You come down in the morning, you're having breakfast with 25 people you don't know, you never met. Some speak your language, some don't, and somehow you get on with it. Do you know what I mean? You're forced to. Otherwise, you're just going to sit there on your own and do nothing. So, I think what traveling teaches you is to get out your comfort zone and embrace it. Really.
Yeah.
So. That obviously you come back from Australia, you take a break from traveling.
Yeah.
You stay in the UK.
Yeah.
I assume you do. What did you say? You're electrician.
Electrician.
So you assume you were doing that job for that period.
Yeah.
Then what's the next big travel experience?
Yeah. So Asia. So I basically, after I got back from Australia, worked for a few years, built up the money, made sacrifices. Travel doesn't come free. It doesn't come cheap. So I'm not going to sit here and make out that it does. I still made sacrifices, so staying in at weekends, not buying flashy cars, that kind of thing. Because, when you're in your 20s, you want a nice car, you want a nice clothes, you want nice shoes. I sacrificed a lot of that to save my money to go traveling. So, headed out to Asia.
You spent some of it on tattoos, though.
Spent a lot on tattoos, but we won't go there. We won't go there. Went out to Asia. I think it was, you're catching up, by the way.
Yeah, fair.
Still a way to go, but yeah.
We'll get there.
6-7 months I spent out in Asia, ticked off so many different countries. And I think that experience for me, I did it with an ex-partner, so it was slightly different. I went to Australia on my own.
Yeah.
This time I started off in India, did Sri Lanka, did those two solo, and then an ex-partner came and met me, and we did the rest of Asia together.
I can remember when we spoke before, when you went to India. Didn't you see something?
Yes.
Wasn't it a young child?
This is it. Yeah. So I was on a bus from Mumbai, and Mumbai is one of those cities in India where the super rich are here, and then the poor. When I say poor, extreme poverty at the other side of the road. So, if you were to look out your window now and look to the other side of the road where Lidl's is, you'd literally be extreme poverty. That's how it was, and that was just the norm there.
Yeah.
And I remember coming on a bus, and I can't remember where I was traveling, maybe Agra to see the Taj Mahal.
Nice.
Something like that, casual. And I was on this bus, and I'm just chilling, got my headphones in. I look out the window into the deprived, obviously, area, poverty, the slums, they call it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this little girl, and beside the slums, there's a divot, and it'll have all the sewage that runs along from all the slums and from the rich people, all goes into the one part down the side of the slums. And there's this little girl, and I was thinking, what is she doing? She was digging around in the sewage, and what she finds is an empty wrapper with a bit of food left in it, and she's then proceeded to eat that food from that wrapper. She's that desperate, that really skinny, really frail, really desperate just to eat anything, that she's dug that out from the sewage and started eating it. And it shocked me. I've never seen anything like that. You see the odd person on the street here, but you don't see extreme.
We're so sheltered over here.
That completely. I thought, why am I so ungrateful for everything I'm eating? I questioned everything.
Extreme poverty. Whereas we see relative poverty, like you said. You see the homeless guy, but he's always. a lot of people still have options. Our government tries its best
to help out there.
Like some kind of benefit or a hostel for the night. But that's another level of poverty,
I think that must have been incredibly powerful, not in a positive sense, but it must have been such a powerful thing to see in terms of, like you say.
Well, the fact he still remembers it. Like he told us that story a while ago, and it's still the same.
It's stuck in my head.
You know what I mean?
To see something
it's
like that.
It's a powerful image, man.
It was, I almost wanted to capture it, but not. Do you know what I mean? So because I wanted to, let the world sort of see it, if anything.
It's because we're so detached over here.
Yeah, like you don't realise it goes on.
No, and when we see it on TV, again, it's like this weird, illusion almost.
Yeah,
right? It's not real.
But it's like what you're saying. Yeah, so it's like we're dumbed down to it to a degree, because you've seen, when you see people raising money for charity and that sort of thing on TV, you see that, and it's like, I don't know, seeing it through a screen, it's just not the same as you being sat there. You can smell the air, you can hear what's going on, you can see this real human being in front of you.
That's at their lowest point and desperate, and it's commonplace out there. That's not like it was something new, it's commonplace. And I think just seeing that kind of woke me up, and made me realise, you've got to be grateful for things, really. Grateful for the life we have in the UK.
Yeah, we're
sure.
As much as I'm constantly getting away from it by traveling. Those little things do make you realise how lucky we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it gives perspective as to. Yeah, like you say,
it's the privilege that we have. Whether you're in the UK and you're on the rich end of the spectrum or the poor end, it's still a privilege, because there's levels to poverty, and obviously he's seen that firsthand.
It's all relative. It's all relative, but I agree. It's hard to see something like that, or even hear something like that, and not think, Jesus, that is another level.
Back a bit.
It's another level of somebody's. I don't know, it hits you in the feels, doesn't it?
Of course,
it's quite a upsetting thing, I think.
Definitely.
So when you've been traveling,
yes,
I assume most of your traveling's been staying in hostels, right?
Yeah, pretty much all of it, to be fair.
What was the experience like in there? Because I guess some people are kind of put off because they're probably going to have some anxiety because they're staying with people they don't know. And obviously, I've not experienced it, but in my head, I always hear the story. It's like a room, load of randomers, and it stinks of ass.
You wouldn't be far from the truth there, to be fair. I mean, I can't really say that's not what goes down. But the thing is, again, it comes back to putting yourself out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we're so used to just sleeping in our own beds, living our own luxury lives, whatever. And when you're over there, you're sharing a room with 20 other people, potentially randomers if you're not traveling with anyone. There's shagging going on. There's there's all sorts of things going on. Night terrors. People are getting up in the middle of the night, sleepwalking, and you kind of, it's weird. After months and months of it, you kind of just get used to it. It's like the norm. I almost came back to the UK after Asia and was like, where is everyone? Slept on my own. I was like, where's all the shagging, the farting, the smelling of ass? I was like, this is weird.
It's just become climatized.
Yeah, you do get acclimatized. I think people are put off by it, but
what? So when you see the shagging, is it you're just in bed, and then surely they're not just they're just next to you?
No. There's travel etiquette. One of the things I sort of picked up, didn't use myself by the way, but picked up was
lies.
If you are shagging, there's something called the sail.
The sail.
Yeah, so it's where. On a boat, you obviously have a sail and you set it up, you push it across. In hostel terms, it's sort of, there's bunk beds.
Yeah.
And you normally get extra sheets,
Yeah.
So what you would do is get one of those sheets and string it up across the bunk bed like a sail when you're shagging, so that so you have basically your own little private suite. It's not private, obviously.
Private suite?
It's just, that's how it felt, because that's how it felt.
Hey, privacy's important, man.
Yeah, it is. So they called it the sail, and you just put up your sail, and that's it.
That's what they do in prison as well.
And that's when you know obviously someone's shagging.
That is what they do in prison, isn't it?
But I think it's probably more aggressive.
Yeah.
No, I remember it from Prison Break. I remember seeing Teabag.
It's probably to hide other things.
Yeah, true.
That's
true,
probably not.
I'm going off.
Probably not consensual either. But
I'm going off topic.
Yeah, But I guess I can see why people think that would be intimidating or anxious. But the thing is with traveling, like, so it's so inclusive and everyone's there for the same reason. Yeah. So it's not like you're there and everyone else is already 19 other people are friends. They're all new as well.
Yeah.
So you're all in the same environment. So you're all trying to fit in. You're all trying to. Everyone's nervous. I'm not going to lie. You know, before going Australia, I wasn't that confident. Grew a little bit in confidence going to Australia on my own. Then went to Asia where we were meeting other people from all sorts of backgrounds, totally different, you know, climate, food, everything. And your confidence just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I think that's what you get from traveling.
And I guess obviously the people are there at random. So you've got an opportunity there to mix with people that you probably wouldn't mix with. Like different backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, whatever. Like you don't know what you're getting, do you? So
some of them, like, they won't even speak your language, but you'll make that effort to try and like make conversation or try and get your phone out. Google Translate was brilliant because obviously you tap it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, on travel, especially if you're solo, you've got to make that effort. You've got to make that effort, but everyone else is in the same boat.
But that's a great learning tool because, like, I was in work the other week, right? And I just started this new job, and obviously there's a couple of new people, and I was thinking you just have to, obviously in that situation, is you have to come out your comfort zone, just go and talk to people, and even that feels a bit nerve-wracking to some degree. But like, that's a whole nother level, and that's why it's such a powerful thing, actually.
It is,
to be forced into that situation. But like, you don't have a choice. You're either going to sink or swim.
Yeah, exactly that. You're either going to sit in your hostel room on your own all day,
exactly,
or you're going to push yourself out your comfort zone, go and meet people, and they'll say, come along to a tour with us, or come along to this museum with us. And that's how it works. And like, you're only going to do that if you lower your guard a little bit. You know, I'm not the most confident person, but as soon as I got onto travels, I knew I've got to make friends. I've got to meet new people. I've got to experience new things, and you're not going to do that on your own. So
got to make some allies, and
got to make some allies.
South,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. In case things go wrong. Yeah, I know that all too well.
Was it was it quite common for the sail to be hung up?
Yeah, we're talking pretty much every night.
You just want to ask him, don't you? Like, did his sail?
I was just making me laugh. The idea of just walking in.
you walk in, it'd be like 3 PM. The sail's out. You think, oh, fuck's sake, I'll go for a shower now. I mean, you leave the room, you're like, oh Christ, I'm not going to read a book now.
As if you were reading books.
Yeah, that's a lie. Yeah. On Instagram scrolling.
Yeah, fair. I think one of the big things for traveling is people. There's a lot of like fear around it, isn't there? Like, I suppose the big thing is I suppose because most people go out by themselves, don't they? I suppose to start off with, and like, has there ever been situations where you feel like you've been scared, or is it? Do you think it's just something people build up in their heads? They make it a bigger problem than it actually is, because actually, like you've said, everyone who's going there, you're all there for the same reason.
Yeah, exactly that. I think people will always have a perceived view on countries or certain areas. So yeah, I think people go in with a mind that, oh, I can't really go to that part of, you know, Thailand Bank. I've heard it's rough, so they won't go there. You know, but unless you experience it yourself, then you're never going to know. So I just think throw yourself out there. Best part of traveling is meeting new people, new experiences. So yeah.
What was the best part of Asia?
For me, Asia's food. The food was just incredible. I mean, who can't like Thai food? Thai food's incredible. All of the Asian food, and the people. Asia, with all the different continents, is so safe. You know, like the people are nice. I think beautiful, like untouched beaches, but then you've got like forests, you've got rivers, you've got everything you could ever want. So yeah. So you go to Asia for like 7 months. Yeah.
With with an ex-partner.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then did you come back to the UK after that?
Yeah, came back to the UK. Again, settled back into a job.
Yeah.
So obviously for Asia, before I went to Asia, I had a job. I just quit that. Most people are like, you're mad to be quitting your job and just jacking it all in. But before I went to Asia, I had a house. So I rented the house out. So I always had that sort of backup. I'm not saying everyone's got to own a house before you can go away, but I'm just saying I had that backup.
It's a nice safety, I suppose.
A safety sort of backup. If it ever went tits up on travels, then you could come home and you've got somewhere to live. That was the main thing. But I think taking that leap of faith and just quitting your job, people are like, you're mental doing that. And
that's a big thing. Actually,
it is a big thing.
For so many people.
Yeah, it's huge.
For so many people, I think for whatever reason, take traveling out of the equation.
Even when there's nothing on the line.
It's a big scary thing for people.
Psychology, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it comes back to change. And
but you're living proof, though, that of like just doing it and just fucking like all that you've learnt by going to all these countries. Like you've been to 45 different countries in the world. Most people don't even go to. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know the average. How many countries the average person goes to. But
it's
cool because it's anywhere near that.
It's mad because like as a family, we used to like have this challenge. Not like a challenge, but we like compete against each other for how many countries we've been to. Yeah, which is really cool. Like for me, that's my measure of success.
I love
my
that.
measure of success isn't like okay. I've been traveling 6 months, 7 months in Asia, 9 months South America, Eastern Europe, a few other places in Europe. Probably spent shy of like 30-40 grand. I could own another property rather than have just the one property and go traveling. I could own another property, but I decided against that. I'd rather travel. To me, that means more in terms of success. How many countries have you been to? How many memories have you made? How many like wonders of the world have you been to? How many beaches, untouched beaches have you been to? To me.
How many times have you hung up the sail?
How many times have you set sail? Like that.
I'm joking. I'm sorry.
Like that is success to me, but that's not for everyone. I get that.
Yeah.
Success to other people is monetary terms,
but I think that's
life success.
I think that's amazing, man, because like you say, success is such a personal thing.
Yeah.
And like when you these. Sorry, we got Diesel thinking he's trying to ruin the pod. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You're just talking about
he's licking the wall, man. Don't let him do that. His ADHD's on fire today, isn't it, Deez?
He's kicking off because I'm here.
He's been going wild.
You were just talking about like the currency
of success.
And I think it's interesting that you that is how you measure success.
It is.
And I'm guessing your family
as a family, we'd have this like competition where like I think my brother's been to like I want to say 50 odd countries. My sisters have both been to probably 20 plus. My parents have probably been to like 35 plus. So like we all have this little like.
So your brother's in the lead.
My brother is in the lead. Yeah, I don't want to mention that, but he is. Yeah, but I'll catch up. Don't worry.
Yeah. No.
And just that, I think having that mentality as a family has kind of pushed us to be driven to travel, to see that as success rather than monetary success, if you know what I mean. Like, I know, like, obviously those things do come with it. You want to be successful in life in other ways. But for me personally, travel is success. If I meet people, they say to me, how many countries you've been to? 45. They're like, whoa, that's incredible. You must have seen. Yeah. And like, I like that reaction, you know. I like to talk about it, you know.
Yeah, so, I think it's amazing, man. I think it's like, you know, like we said, there's a whole frigging world out there. Most people,
well, not just that. It's like the point he made about, you know, you could have spent 30k on a nice car, right? You get a nice whip for 30k. How long are you going to enjoy that versus all those memories he has now of traveling and learning from different people, different cultures, experiencing everything?
Yeah.
You know, you're taking that to the grave. That car will be dead before you. Do you know
exactly that. I can literally go through my phone. Yes, I'll have photos of me and Sarah on there. I'll have 1,000 photos of my dog, Hugo. But then I've got photos of like me in the mountains in Chile.
Exactly.
Me like on a beach in the Philippines. Me swimming with sea turtles in Sri Lanka. You know, like things like that. And like that means more to me than if someone went to me, but you drive a smart car. Yes, I do drive a smart car.
You drive a smart car?
I do actually drive a smart car, yeah. But I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't bother me at all. You know, I'd rather have done the traveling and seen the things I've seen.
I think that's the right attitude and that works.
Sorry, man, just laughing at Diesel. He's just don't want to chillax.
In his element.
I mean, mate, I think the way you explain that and the way you approach life in that way, I think it's really positive actually, because you're not obsessed with everything you own and fucking how much money's in the bank. It's all about like experiences, man.
Life experience, I think, is worth more than you'll have a much better conversation with someone that's been traveling to 20 odd countries than you would with someone that's never traveled and got an M3 on the drive, you know, like
100%, yeah.
100%, yeah, I totally...
It is each to their own, and I agree with that, but yeah, it's how you measure success, isn't it? And
and it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
Because for some people, they live their life in the UK and
I can't help but think, though, that the people that think like that is because they haven't had a look over the wall to see what's out there. Because I think as soon as they go over that wall, like he had that moment where his mind just expanding. It's like when he went to Australia, he's like, this ain't it for me now. This is it. Like we're going somewhere else. And I think when people get that moment, but you've got to get them off this island first.
Yeah. I found that like everyone we met had the same sort of thing. Once they'd been traveling once or to a new country once, something just clicks in you, and you just constantly. It's like an addiction. You're constantly wanting that next country. Where are you going to go to next? I'm one of those where I rarely go back to the same country. So like I will because I've been to Amsterdam like 3 or 4 times. You do on stag do's and stuff like that. But I wouldn't generally choose or pay to go there. I'd rather go to a new country. So I'll end up in like somewhere random like Slovakia or Lithuania, stuff like that. Because I don't want to go to the same country twice. But some people have the mentality to just keep going to the same place, do the same thing, routine. Yeah, so
and it just becomes mundane.
Yeah, it's mundane. Yeah, it's boring.
No adventure in that.
Yeah.
So, moving on from Asia, you went. Was it after that you went and travelled South America?
Yeah. So after Asia, I obviously came back into work. I sort of suggested to a couple of my mates that were recently single. I'd become recently single, so it seemed we all had properties to rent out. I was like, what are we doing, lads? Like, why can't we just... My mate had been in his job for like 10 years with Western Power, really good job. My other mate has got, financially sound. So I threw it out there thinking, let's put the feelers out there.
Yeah.
I said, I've planned a little trip. It involves Eastern Europe, randomly. So it involves Eastern Europe for about 8 weeks, and it involves South America. What's your thoughts? Both of them straight away, yeah.
Let's do it.
I was like, I'm sold. So, started planning this trip. Put it to them. They said, yeah. So, first port of call was Eastern Europe. So we did Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland for about 8 weeks, and then moved on to South America. So we ended up going, after Eastern Europe, we went to Portugal. My family came over there for a week, so we had a little week with my family.
Nice.
And then from Portugal, then we booked a flight to Rio. Like, we all know Rio. What a place, Copacabana.
And you love football, so that must have been pretty cool.
Oh, it was insane, yeah. So, it kind of stemmed from there, went on from there, and spent the next 6 months in South America. Yeah.
You got some wild stories from South America, haven't you?
South America is a wild continent. Loads of different countries, obviously. Loads went on, really.
Let's hear the Ecuador story.
Yeah, so we went to Ecuador, Quito, capital of Ecuador. None the wiser as to anything going on over there. We just thought we'd go and visit it. It's another country to tick off. Got over there and got checked into the hostel. All fine. All seemed normal. I think it must have been the next day on the news. We were watching the news with everyone in the hostel. They'd announced that they'd cut the fuel subsidies to all the taxi drivers and bus drivers. And this is like how they make their living. They get subsidised by the government partly, and then obviously go out and earn their money through fares and stuff like that. But what he'd done, he'd completely cut it overnight. Rather than just drop it like they probably would in the UK, say, he just completely cut it. So essentially that just caused absolute chaos. And when I say chaos, proper riots. So essentially we were stuck in the hostel for 9 days straight because they were just rioting right outside our doors. When I say rioting, like setting things on fire, trashing parliament buildings, like attacking police. It's just insane. I remember, like, I think it was the third night in. They've been rioting the whole time, 24 hours. It just doesn't stop. Jesus. And I remember we sat in the hostel. I was like starting to cough my guts out, thinking, what the hell is that? There's all this plumes of like smoke. Smoke grenades have been set off by the police outside our hostel, and they're just coming through all the doors. It's absolutely insane. Just full of like, we're moving like further and further back into the hostel to escape the smoke.
It's wild, man.
Were you scared?
the thing is, like, you know, when you're scared but intrigued, you're almost like, I'm scared, but at the same time, I want to go out and see. So like,
adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah, your adrenaline's like pumping through the roof, and like, I kept like sneaking my head out the door, trying to film little bits. I've got loads of like cool videos where, well, I say cool, it's not cool, but you know what I mean. I got video.
But in terms of intrigue, in terms of intrigue, I
felt like a reporter. You know, I was literally felt like the only kind of Brits there. It was me and Jack. Felt like the only Brits there. So I was like, I've got to film this. But like locals were saying, like, get back, and then all you'd hear is like something being smashed down the road, like flames flying past you. And I'll always remember something that sticks out in my mind during those riots was there was this old geezer, and well, I think he was old, and he had a balaclava over his mouth, and he had the Ecuadorian flag, but half of it was on fire, just like proper chanting, getting involved, and I just that stuck with me. So I took a photo of that, and I subsequently got it tattooed on my leg. It's probably my favourite tattoo. It's the only colour tattoo I've got.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And it's literally like the Ecuador flag, the guy holding it with his mask, and it's done so well. And yeah, that's just something that stuck in my mind. A bit like that occasion in India. It's just this guy, he's so passionate about the cause. He's there just with the Ecuadorian flag on fire, not caring, a bat in the other hand, you know, just getting involved. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's not like when they riot over here.
Not at all. It's on another level.
Wet wipes over here.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? We're soft, aren't we? Absolutely soft.
We give it a bit. We give it large, and it's like after a day, it's like all right, back to normal.
The thing is, like
back home everywhere.
Yeah, the fuel goes up by fuel goes up by 3p here, and we'll tweet about it or put something on Insta. Whereas they're like.
Yeah, that's how we riot over here.
They're taking
tweeting.
Police hostage. So they actually took 6 members of the police hostage live on TV. Man. Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. Like the indigenous tribes were coming down as well. They were getting involved.
They're getting involved.
They were coming down. Yeah,
you know, they call for backup.
Spears and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, reinforcements. Honestly, and it was just every night relentless for 9 days.
But that must have been such a like eye-opening experience, and something you'd never see in this country, and something you'd never see if you just went on holiday. Do you know what I mean? That's something you've experienced through traveling. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing, because obviously it's, you know, I can imagine it caused a lot of damage, whatever. But but
it's something I can say I've experienced.
Yeah.
When people say, remember those riots in 2019, I can be like, well, I was there, because it made a lot of national news at the time.
I think you showed us a video before, and it was looked nuts. Wild, man.
It was like all over the news. There's like kids running around, like smashing things up, fire. It's insane.
Another level, man.
But I can say I've experienced that. I was there at that time. So, it was pretty crazy.
So Ecuador was wild.
Ecuador was wild. We then, weirdly, it kind of followed us, like, because we then got to Chile and they were doing protests. And it was like,
fucking hell.
Yeah, it was the 60th day. We'd arrived.
They weren't protesting about you two, were they?
Probably. They're probably like, get these guys out of this country and set sail.
The sales back out, is it?
The sales been causing chaos.
Oh, I know, yeah. We then got to Chile and there was riots there. And I can't remember, it was political reasons again, but every night at 6 p.m, it was like calm during the day. It's in Santiago.
Yeah.
It was like calm during the day, and then all of a sudden, by 6 p.m, it was just carnage. You're talking like hundreds of thousands of people lining the streets, protesting in like massive numbers, families. And what would happen was like the government would come out on these like army trucks, and you know the ones where they spray you with the water.
Yeah.
You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Wait till you actually physically see someone get hit by that. Oh my God, I've never seen anything hit him. They go flying, skidding across the concrete. It's like, whoa.
That's aggressive, isn't it?
It's almost like you want to be there filming it. You see that, you're like, right, let's go back to the hostel then.
Yeah.
Early night for the boys.
You'll be next, so
yeah. But yeah, again, like saw that. That was crazy. Experienced it.
Where was there's another like wild story you got in there when you were which is a story which you've told me which has stuck with me the most.
Yeah. So this one's absolutely nuts, and obviously I don't want to put people off traveling. Some of it's a bit of naivety on mine and Jack's front on this, but basically we went to Cali in Colombia.
Yeah.
So it's known for the TV program Narcos.
Yeah.
So like that's why a lot of tourists will go there, because there's loads of sets and stuff from Narcos. Anyway, we get there the first day. It's baking hot, like 35 degrees, and we're like, what can we do? Let's go and do something. And there was a viewpoint over the city. Nice. Every city we went to, we had like this thing where we'd always go and see the viewpoint first, because you're getting in a bit of hiking and you're getting to see like an amazing view.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, we'll go up there. Just before we left, the guy in the hostel said, well, be careful, it's like 11:30 in the morning now. After 1 o'clock, there's no police presence up there. Straight away, you're thinking, that's weird. Why do you need like police presence on a mountain? But didn't really think nothing of it. I thought, oh, we should be able to get up there and get back down. As you do, like, you think, oh, you'd be fine, you'd be safe. Got up there, all fine, we're taking videos. There's actually a little gym at the top there, which is nuts. So we're on the bench taking like jokey videos, filming like the view. The view was incredible, right over the city. I think it had got to about maybe 1:15. So like, oh, fair enough, we'll start heading back down.
Yeah.
As we start heading back down the normal path that we should have took, this lady comes out of nowhere with a dog and starts like speaking a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of English to us, saying, oh, guys, you know, don't go down that way, it's not safe. Come down this way.
Yeah.
And we're talking like a 65-year-old woman with a dog.
So she probably made you feel comfortable.
Yeah. You know, we trusted
and
her,
safe,
essentially.
Yeah.
I trust most old people. You just do, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's a natural instinct.
And the thing is, she had a dog. I absolutely love dogs. So I'm all over this dog.
Yeah.
It was 35 degrees. The dog had no water. So I'm like feeding the dog water. She's clawing me in that way.
Yeah.
I'm sold here. I'm like, I just want to go home with this lady.
She's done you a kipper,
yeah,
hasn't she?
She's got a dog. I'm sold. So anyway, started following her. I think just before we got further down, I actually did a video on Instagram going, I made some new friends. You know, this lady and the dog, it's in my story. I've got it saved somewhere. 2 minutes after I filmed that, we're walking down like a narrow path on the mountainside. 2 guys jump out, balaclavaed up, screaming Spanish with machetes, chasing us, demanding money. One of them's chased Jack. One of them's chased me.
Yeah.
Jack's gone off one direction. I've gone off another. The guy was swinging like this at me, shouting Spanish. He's grabbed my bag. He's caught it, kind of ripped it. I managed to wriggle away. I've turned around. He's that close to me trying to jab this machete. I've just got I know what they want. They want my phone, my wallet, passport, that kind of thing. So I just took my phone out, launched it at him. It's hit him like in the neck. That's bought me some extra time to run away. I've gone further down. I've seen Jack. He's like on the floor hobbling because he's jumped off a massive rock to get away from this other guy.
Yeah.
They've literally grabbed everything off him and then gone back for me. So where I've gone past Jack, they've got all his stuff. They're then chasing me. So there's 2 guys chasing me now. I'm thinking in my head, I'm either going to die here or I've got to jump off the side. So off the side of the mountain, there was like a sort of a steep, I say like a gentle incline with loads of rocks, loads of thorns, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to jump off it. What's to lose? I'm either going to get stabbed to death or I can jump off here and maybe sustain a few injuries. Jumped off there. Started like rolling down the hill. I'm topless because it's boiling, so I've got cuts all over me. The mad thing is, Jack thought exactly the same thing. So we didn't speak or anything. He thought to jump off the side of the mountain as well. We then caught up with each other. Jack's knee is completely like ruined. He thinks he's broke his leg. So I've had to then carry him halfway down this mountain.
Jeez.
So after all that stress has gone on, we've got away from the guys. We looked at the mountain, could just about see them with these machetes. They're happy. They've got my phone. They've got Jack's phone and his wallet, which is savage. As we got to the bottom, we then got to go through someone's back garden. So at the bottom of that hill was like a favela. It's like one of these rough sort of neighborhoods. We're in this garden thinking, shit, we're not out of the woods here. They could think we're like either robbing the house or they just think gringos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we get into this garden. I'm carrying Jack still because he can't walk. And these kiddies go, no, you're safe. Luckily, these kids come into the back garden, grabbed us and said, you're safe with us. My dad's got a motorbike. Jack got on the back of the motorbike because he couldn't walk. And I just ran down by the side of the motorbike all the way to the hospital. Absolutely insane. All the way through this favela. And just like in a utter state of shock, really.
I'm not surprised, man.
That's crazy.
Do you think... So the old woman must have been in on it?
Still to this day, we don't know. Because obviously when we did the police report, they said these things do happen on a regular occurrence. So we're not sure whether she was or she wasn't. But
it's
to
the fact that...
It's so sus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very sus.
And like you would have stood out as a tourist like big time. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
yeah. But the mad thing is, when we filed the police report, they were saying that they kill people for less than $5 because
that's crazy.
They're Venezuelan, and if they don't get money from tourists or rob people, they'll go back to the cartel leaders and get killed themselves or beaten or whatever for not bringing back anything. So,
God, that first minute though, where you're walking down and they jump out of the fucking woods.
Do you know what? That played over in my mind for years after. Even now, I'm like reliving it. It's nuts.
Yeah, when you're telling it, my heart was going a little bit.
I'm literally like, I'm thinking about it, and it's still, I can remember it like it was yesterday.
That's traumatic.
It is traumatic,
that
and I think that made me again more. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, you're gonna be way more robust. Now.
But then I think you're more aware then as well. You're not so, you can just go here, you can just go. You have still got to be aware in these countries.
Yeah, and I think that's an eye opener in terms of you're not in necessarily Europe now.
No,
where you might be. Do you know what I mean?
It's not in Western society.
Like, you're not at Penavan. Yeah, you're right. This is a different ball game.
Yeah.
Like if someone says to you, the police are not up there after 1 or whatever it was, you make sure you're not up there.
Make sure you're not there.
Yeah. So I suppose
again, it's naivety on our own.
Well,
to a degree, but it's one of the main attractions in Cali to do. So like you'd think, it'd be safe to do it.
You say naivety. I'm not sure it's that naive, really. I think. Yeah, unless you've experienced that yourself or you've heard someone else explain that story, why would you think you're walking down a mountain and some people are jumping out with machetes? Like you wouldn't necessarily.
No.
So no, but you kind of see it on movies, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's built up to be that sort of area, but you never think it's going to happen to yourself. I think that's what it is. You never think it's going to happen to you.
I think you would have got chefed up, wouldn't you?
Not me, mate.
It's a good job I'm fast, isn't it?
That's what I was saying. I was going to say, did the running come into that?
Yeah, well, this is before I really started running.
This is before he was an Olympic runner, man.
Yeah, but if I was a bit slow, I would have been stabbed, essentially.
Chefed up like cookie.
Yeah.
Leave yourself, mate. I would have done the same thing as Dan. But I mean,
mad experience.
No, I don't want to say like good story, but it's a mad story.
Yeah, and it's something that probably brought me and Jack a lot closer as well.
I can imagine, man.
Going through that, because after that we were sat in the hospital, no phones, nothing. It's a mental place to be. Like when you can't speak Spanish. Yeah.
And I can imagine you're probably like a scary moment for your family, because I assume they wouldn't have been able to contact you for a period.
It was a few days before you could even like get a phone.
Exactly.
And then my friend Jack put out like a Facebook status, and I remember like the messages I got of being like, just, you may have lost your £1,000 phone, but you're alive. Yeah. Like, that's mental to say, isn't it? But that's literally the reality of it.
Of course it is,
man. It was either I threw my phone at him and maybe distracted him, or he's going to stab me.
Again, though, it's opening your eyes to you're seeing life in a completely different way. Like if someone stole a phone in this country, don't get me wrong, you could have someone jumping out with machetes in this country, but
depends what's on that hard drive, really, doesn't it?
I suppose. But the severity of what you went through, like to go back to like say Penavan, you're not getting that on Penavan. No. So if someone was to steal your phone in this country, like I feel like you'd probably be a bit more fussed about that. You'd be more like
you would, rather than actually surviving it. Or
exactly.
You'd be like, I've lost the phone, I can't go on Instagram tomorrow. I wasn't even thinking like that. I wasn't even thinking where I was. I was just thinking, I'm safe, Jack's safe.
Well, you lobbed the phone at him, so you gave it to him, man.
Yeah, good job there, massive.
Yeah.
Imagine it was like a Nokia, just be like, it's nothing, stab.
Yeah.
So crazy, but there's so many like highs and lows to traveling. Like I'm not going to sit here and make out every day is going to be a high.
Of course,
and you're not going to get those lows are extreme. That's extreme cases. That happened to me. The riots, wrong place, wrong time, being like attacked like that. It could happen to anyone, but it's rare. So like I'm not trying to say these things happen all the time.
No,
I'm just trying to say like I've experienced those, and it's probably made me a stronger, more confident person from experiencing those.
But I think the message to the listener or the viewer is I'm not saying you were naive, but don't be naive.
Yeah.
Especially when you are in these places, because Christ, that could happen, or anything could happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's almost like respect their culture, respect their country, like respect where you're going.
But isn't that like a byproduct of, again, what we see on TV? We feel like we already know the culture because of what we see on TV.
Yeah.
Like you said about like Narcos, was it?
Yeah.
Like we think we know those people. we have an idea of what they're about.
Yeah.
Or you take it back to something like Top Boy, and people probably think they know what it's like to live in London. In some of the
that's a fair point.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Like people,
but then it gives you a false sense of security.
Exactly.
Because you feel like you know what you're going into.
Yeah,
completely, man. But going back to, like, say, if somebody is listening to this, like, what sort of advice would you give to someone who's maybe at that point where they're thinking, I want to travel?
if they're thinking about traveling, take that plunge. It's all about taking that risk. If you don't take that risk, you'll never know. The experiences, the highs you'll experience will far outweigh the lows. If you're sort of low on confidence, meeting people, I think life skills and meeting people is the best thing you can gain.
I agree.
And if you're up for the challenge, then do it. You know, if you've been thinking about it, you're already halfway there, in my opinion. If you're already thinking about traveling, you're halfway there. Knuckle down, save up, save the money, and just do it. You know.
Yeah. Just
what's to lose? There is nothing to lose.
Yeah, you could, like you said, you can always get money. You can always bloody buy a car, buy a house. So I think it's just step outside your comfort zone, isn't it?
Exactly that. Yeah, it's all about just getting out of the comfort zone and going for it.
For sure.
Just to wrap up, where's next? Where's next for you?
I'm actually going to Portugal in about 10 days time. And I'm going to Mexico in May.
Nice.
For a couple of weeks. But you know how most people will go to a 5-star resort and just stay. Yeah, that's not me. We're going into like boutique hotel in the town. We're going to explore a bit. So yeah, that's sort of next on the horizon. I won't lie, travel is always there. It's always in the back of my mind. So I'll never say never to another long stint of traveling. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Sounds good.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on your journey either way. But yeah, thanks for sharing all your stories and all your travel experience. And like, I suppose for the viewer, if you are someone who's thinking about doing it, just take that plunge. Just don't be naive. Thanks everybody for listening and viewing. If you give us a like, follow and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.